Hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Unhook and this is my review of the Chinese Tier 8 medium premium tank, the T-34-3. So is it any good? It seems to be a pretty good tank, yes. It definitely makes a lot of credits, so if that's what you're into, then it's probably a pretty good buy. Don't get this though if you love gun depression, because it only has 5 degrees of gun depression all around the tank. The elevation also isn't very good. However, it is a very well armoured tank for a Tier 8 medium. In fact, if you're top tier, you're almost a heavy tank. The Type 59, which is a Russian premium tank, is identical as far as I can tell, as far as armour layout goes, and turret and track traverse, and pretty much everything else except the gun. So the gun is the difference between this and the Type 59. This has a high alpha damage gun, 390 damage per round, so but it's a lower rate of fire, although it has very similar DPM to the Type 59. It's fairly mobile, interesting tank. So let's now have a look at the tank comparison. In our tank comparison today we have the T-34-3 on the left. Next to that we have the T-44, which is a non-premium Tier 8 Russian tank. I have that next to it because it has an identical gun. Then we have the Type 59, which has identical armour, but a different type of a gun, so I thought I'd include that as well. And then we have the T-34-2, and I'm including that because it's the non-premium counterpart to the -3 that we're reviewing. So DPM is very similar, except for the T-44, which is pretty low. So DPM is 1746. The T-44, this is not the gun most people use on it. There is a 100mm gun, which is much better and has a better DPM, but I'm leaving this 122mm gun on it so we can compare it directly to the 122mm on the T-34-3. 175mm of penetration isn't fantastic, but it's okay. I guess you could use premium if you wanted to. The Type 59 and T-34-2 both have 181mm of penetration and 250 alpha damage, but of course we have 390 with this 122mm, which is of course the same as T-44. So usual trade-off, yeah, slower rate of fire for bigger alpha damage. So what is the rate of fire? Well, it's 13.4, which is a fair bit quicker than the 15.2 on the T-44's gun. The Type 59 has 8.7, and the best is the T-34-2 with 8.5 seconds reload time. The shell velocity is 800 for both of the big guns, which is not very good, and 900 for both of the smaller guns, which is okay-ish. The ammo capacity of 40 is plenty in the T-34-3. The others have actually more than that, except for the T-44 only has 26. Now this is where the gun gets good. Aim time of 2.9 seconds doesn't sound all that good until you look at the T-44 that has 3.2 on the identical gun. So the aim time's not bad for such a high alpha damage gun. However, you really want to be at close range if you can, so that you don't have to rely on that aim time too much. The T-34-2 though has 2.8 seconds aim time, which is only 0.1 better than the T-34-3, and it's got a much lower alpha damage gun, which is kind of weird really. The Type 59 has 2.3 seconds for the same gun as the T-34-2. I'm not saying that premium tanks are overpowered. I'm not saying that at all. The dispersion on the T-34-3 is pretty bad at 0.46. It's the best on the Type 59 and T-34-2 at 0.39, but the figure doesn't mean much these days anyway. Dispersion upon moving is not that good on the T-34-3, but for some reason it's better than it is on the T-34-2, even though it's a much smaller gun on that tank. 15 degrees of elevation is awful, so if you're going downhill on a valley and you want to fire across to the other side of the valley, you've got Buckleys. The gun depression of 5 degrees is the same as all of them except for the Type 59, which has 7, and as we know 5 degrees isn't very good, so it's not a hill fighter. Forward speed of 50 is pretty good, same as the T-34-2, slightly worse than the T-44, and the Type 59 has 56. Reverse speed of 20 is the same as all the others except the T-44, which has 23, so it's a fairly mobile tank. A weight of 35.5 tons means it's not bad at ramming. The lightest of the bunch is the T-34-2 at 34 ton, and the Type 59 is heaviest at 36, so they're all very similar weights. Power to weight ratio 14.65 isn't very good. It's slightly better than the 14.44 on the Type 59. The T-34-2 has 17, which is a lot better, and the T-44 has 22.5, which is monstrously better and results in a far better track traverse. And oh no, it doesn't, because it's not premium. Anyway, the terrain resistances are on this tank are okay. A little bit better than the T-44, although the T-34-2 has the best. The turret traverse is 46 on all of them except for the T-44. It's slightly better at 48. And the track traverse on all of them is 46, except it's slightly worse than the T-44 at 44, which is logical because of its lighter weight and higher engine power. No, it's not, is it? Has the most powerful engine, 760 horsepower, and its track traverse is the slowest. Even though it's effective. Anyway, forget it. So the hull armor on the T-34-3 is very good. Is identical to Type 59. It's very well sloped. The turret armor of 200 is very good, and we'll see that in the armor review. But the T-44 has, it looks like similar armor, but it's not really. It's a World War II design, and so the 190 mils and the 90 mils are effectively just nowhere near as good as they are on the T-34 or the Type 59. And indeed, the T-34 has the modern shape as well, although it has much thinner armor. 1,300 hit points for all of them, and a view range of 380 meters for all of them, which is not bad, so you can do a bit of spotting, and that's about it. I thought we'd have a quick look at the camouflage comparison, since you probably could do a bit of spotting and scouting in this tank. So the T-34-3 seen just here, where I'm waving my mouse around, has a stationary camouflage of 14.93 and 11.17 when moving. The Type 59, which is right underneath it, has better camouflage, 15.67 and 11.74 while moving. Why? I don't know, since they both seem to have the identical armor layer and be the identical size, as far as I can tell. I could be wrong. So anyway, 14.93, the T-34-2 in fact is on top of the T-34-3. It has the best at 17.04, which is actually very, very good. So that T-34-2 could be a very good scout, considering it has the same 380 meter view range as the others as well. Now let's have a look at the T-44. So what have we got? 14.93 for our T-34. T-44 is 16.02, which is also better camouflaged and is pretty good. That's odd to me. I thought the turret on the T-44 was bigger, but maybe I'm wrong about that. So camouflage, we can say, is probably not that good compared to its counterparts on the T-34-3. So on to the armor layer, and it's pretty darn good. If we get the same height as the gun here, the upper and lower plates are both 100mm, but you can see, even though this tank is low and we're at the gun's height, 100mm is coming up to 190mm, so it's very well sloped, the lower plate. Don't bother shooting the lower plate. You've got a better chance, in fact, on the upper plate. You can see it comes up about 150, 160mm. Most tanks will be able to penetrate that if you're facing them straight on, but you won't do that because you're very clever and you'll angle the tank, won't you? Yes, you will. So if we angle about this much, you can see we've got ricochet angled all down the side. It is 80mm of side armor, which is also pretty good for a medium tank. If we angle it a little bit too much, though, it starts to become not so good with 120s to 160s along the side. So you want to keep it about that angle. I guess we're looking at about 20-25 degree angle, and you can see there we're getting ricochet and above 200, but the upper plate here goes from what, 187 to 190, and the lower plate is oh, hang on, I'm a bit low. Let's get the same height as the gun here. It's still got ricochet, yep. So the upper plate is 180 to 190, and the lower plate is 190 to 200 and something. So that's probably more realistic. Now, if you are firing this particular gun, if you've got the same tank, then with 175mm of penetration, this tank is pretty much impenetrable, considering the turret is pretty much impenetrable as well. You might get a lucky roll and get a pen. If you've got the 181mm of penetration like the other two tanks we had a look at have, then you might be able to get a pen here, might not. So it's still an iffy penetration. So this tank armour is very good for its tier. Speaking of very good, let's have a look at the turret. And the flattest part, which is just under the gun here, is 200mm, so you're still not getting through it with an identical gun. This part here is 210. Up here we go to 260. Very thick armour. Here 200. Here where it starts to slope away, it's 168, but look at the angling. It's coming up as 400mm of effective armour, and the sides is just pointless. The cupolas are weak spots. They're 150mm, but they're pretty small, and like if you hit it on this side like that, where it's the highest from the front, you're not doing anything at 241 effective armour. If you can get it here, it's 160-ish to 180-ish, but if it's moving, it's going to be hard to hit, isn't it? This other side's not that good, 180, yeah, it's pretty much 180 all the way through it. So yeah, the sides are 80, the back of the turret is 60, rear of the tank's 40, top here is 150. Can you penetrate the roof? Well, the roof of the tank is 48mm, the front part of the roof, which means that you'd need a 150mm gun or more to overmatch the roof, and it's pretty thin as well. But the back part of the roof is 30mm, so your 122mm gun or better will probably overmatch it, and you could get it. There it is, you could get it there. So if you have a shot looking down, if you're elevated and you're looking down this tank, if you hit the back half of the turret, you've got a reasonable chance of overmatching the front half, not so much. Now, is there any weaknesses in this armour? Yes, there is a chink in the armour. This bit here is only 45mm, this little bit that sticks out the side here. So even directly front on, if you hit that, you pretty much got a guaranteed pen there. 45mm of armour, 71 effective. And from an angled armour, if it was angling perfectly to you like this, you can still put holes in that pretty easily. Although at the back half of it here, you can see there's a ricochet, and that's ricochet all the way to there. Wow! So we really just have to hit that tiny little bit at the front. So whilst it is a chink in the armour, if it's moving back and forth, we really have Buckleys of hitting it. But that's where the chink is. Oh dear. So the map is Serene Coast, and the nuclear strategist, also known as Ethan, is top tier. So well done, the nuclear strategist, on getting a top tier game when you're a tier 8. That doesn't happen all that often. Now he's typed in the notes that he wants to go to the heavy tank side of the map because he wants to get damage to get a mastery badge. He's actually gone out of his way to try and get a good replay in this tank to put on the channel, because we wanted to review this tank. So yeah, so as you can see, it's fairly mobile for a medium tank, considering it's fairly well armoured. Well, when you're top tier, it's well armoured anyway. It's almost a heavy tank. Not so great when you're bottom tier, of course. I've got that big alpha gun, so let's see how he goes. It's actually not a bad gun to go up against heavy tanks with, because you do a bit of damage. A Comet, I would suggest this Comet's in a lot of trouble. Comet goes for the ram, which seems to be a really silly thing to do. British tank. This British medium tank does not have very good penetration. And it doesn't look like he's using premium rounds, so he is penetrating though. He's aiming his shots quite well, and we get shot in the back by the Tiger there as well. Looks like we're in a really bad spot now. This is not looking good. He has bounced quite a few shots. He bounced the RHM, which was really fortunate, because that thing potentially 750 damage, so he managed to bounce that. Takes a big risk and backs over this hill, so he is really exposed now to anything from across the other side of the lake. He's getting some spotting and assist damage while he's here. He also, something to note on his tank, it looks like it's got a weak ammo rack, because he had his ammo rack damaged and he used his repair kit and repaired it, and the next shot damaged his ammo rack again. So I don't know if any of those people he's playing against were using some sort of an illegal mod or not, but he's had his ammo rack damaged twice, so a bit of bad luck there. Hopefully this LTTB doesn't spot him from across the lake. Now it looks like somebody spotted the other tanks and they've got their back turned, so he's taking advantage of this. So he has only got one repair kit, and because he's got a fire extinguisher and a first aid kit as well. And I normally carry a small repair kit and a large repair kit for situations like this. It's a trade-off because I don't have a fire extinguisher. So the RHM has now turned his gun, so he's did the right thing there. You could see the RHM had its gun pointed towards him, so he waited until it got engaged by another tank and had to fire, and then he's come over and got a free shot. So now this Tiger, got to be a little bit careful here. Tiger's got pretty good penetration, although it's only a tier 7. Gets a good shot into it there, and the Hellcat gets a shot in, although he manages to block that. He blocks the Tiger again as well, so he's blocked quite a bit of damage. The Tiger's dead now, so he's trying to get a shot on this Hellcat before it can back away. But it has already backed away. It might come out again for another shot, you never know. He's not going to wait for it, could take all day. Is he going to go across the water, or is he going to go across the bridge? The bridge will be quicker, but it's riskier. Decides to go for the bridge. Bit of a risk. So he's done 1700 damage already, and he's bounced 1700 damage off that armour. He's also done 1400 assist damage in a very short period of time. But you do tend to get a lot of assist damage when you're front line. And here comes the Hellcat. It's got to be a little careful here. Gets the shot in quickly. He went for the tracking shot as well, but didn't manage to track it. But the Hellcat penetrated with that shot, so a good shot actually by the Hellcat. Must have got his lower plate, I think. And he goes for the killing shot, and Hellcat penetrates him again. So well done by the Hellcat. Did probably as best as he could have done. He played pretty well. The artillery manages to hit us though. So not much health left, only 156 health. So the nuclear strategist has to be a little careful from here on in. A little bit more careful perhaps than he's been. Looks like the Black Prince, I don't think the Black Prince can reverse that fast, so he must be facing the other way, and he's driving away. And now here we see the limits of the gun depression. He wasn't able to get a shot by going up there and flying down, so he had to come back, and then the tank's gone. So, but he did get some spotting assist damage on it. Now we see this, I think it's a KV-85, and well, it was there, but it went behind the building, so he missed it, and a bit of a long reload with his big alpha damage gun, so he won't get another opportunity straight away. Good idea to sneak through this building, because you don't know who else is pointing their guns at you from the other side of the train tracks. They've only got 4 tanks left. Now he's got a free shot here on the back of the Black Prince. Fortunately, his teammate misses the shot on the Black Prince, and the nuclear strategist gets to get that shot in. So we've got the KV-85 on cap, and we've just spotted the Jackson. So Jackson, same gun as the Hellcat, although it does work better on the Jackson than it works on the Hellcat. Better gun, same gun. The other guy has somehow got in the way here. Don't know how did that guy ended up there, I don't know. But anyway, he gets the shot in on the Jackson. I really like the Jackson, nice tank. Great gun. So now KV-85 will probably be facing the other way, and yes he is, so a bit of free damage. And that big damage gun does 392 and sets him on fire. But the KV-85 unfortunately must have had a fire extinguisher, automatic fire extinguisher, because it only does about 20 points of damage before the fire goes out. But that's it, the game is over. Okay, so the nuclear strategist did a mastery game there. Apologies if there's background noises, but I think it's my daughter's making a cup of tea. So yeah, mastery badge, high caliber and steel wall. Great game by the nuclear strategist, and he did a bit of everything. We've got some actual original spotting here. We've got assist damage, we've got damage, we've got kills, we've got bouncing, we've got everything. As you can see, when top tier, it's the armor holds up very well. So, I normally have this by experience, there we go. So, finished on top for his team with 3,064 damage and 3 kills, doing 1,393 XP. That's a lot of XP, isn't it? Wow. Shots fired 12, 11 of them hit and 10 of them penetrated. So, even though the gun doesn't have a great penetration, when you're top tier, it's pretty darn good. Damage 3,064, and hits received 14, penetrations 6. Wow. Block by armor 1790. Vehicles spotted 5, enemy vehicles damaged 8, destroying 3 with 1,909 assistance damage, which is pretty fantastic. 120,000 earned and 95,000 profit. So this premium tank seems to be pretty profitable. Wow. Thank you for watching our review of the T-34-3. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to Reginaldesq and have fun.